Hey guys, what is going on? So, I did something I normally don't do, and I read manga. And this was not your average manga. This was a one-shot from a series that we all know and love. You guys have probably seen it everywhere. It's been trending on Twitter, and it's been over any anime news outlet or site that you'll go on, and that is the new Death Note one-shot. And we all know Death Note, we've all watched it. It's a masterpiece. I don't know anyone who does not like Death Note. Death Note's an amazing series. It's one of the first anime that I've ever watched. I remember when I was younger and watching this on DVD. And then now so many people have watched it. It's considered a masterpiece to everyone. I've never met anyone who doesn't like Death Note. So going into this one shot, what did I expect? Greatness. Not really at first though, I'm gonna admit it, just because of everyone, they clowned the MC of this. They're like, okay, look at this TikToker, look at this e-boy, look at this. But I was like, okay, one thing we got to remember about Death Note is set in like our time period. So Death Note came out in 2005, I think, and it was 2005 in the series. And then Death Note comes out in 2019 with this one shot, and it's 2019 in the one shot. So I'm saying like, okay, this is the way people dress, this is the way people look nowadays. I don't know if that's how they are in Japan, but that's how these TikTokers and e-boys are here. So I was like, okay, I'll give it some slack before I read it. And going into this, and when I read it, I was mind blown. Like, I was boggled. I was like, this is a lot better than what I actually expected, and this had a good series. And it was a different take on the Death Note series. Like, it was like the lighter side of Death Note. This wasn't even Death Note, this was Angel Note, except for some other stuff, which I'm not really trying to get into because I'm not going to go into spoiler territory until we get into the end of the video. For you guys who haven't read it, make sure you read it because this is an amazing series. I personally think it's just up there with Death Note, even though Death Note was like a way more complex, in-depth, and longer series. This was just a one-shot. It was like 80 pages, so it was a little different, but it was still good. This is one of the first one-shots like I've ever read, and I'm very impressed with it. And I would like to see this actually get an anime adaptation, and I would kind of like to see this go a little bit further than just a one-shot, because after reading it, I wasn't disappointed in the story that we got. I was disappointed in how fast it ended, because with this story you have it's that the pacing and just how fluent and consistent the story was just amazing. Those of you who read it already know what I'm talking about. And let me know in the comments down below if you guys think I'm blowing it up way too much. Like, if you're like, okay, it's not that good. Yeah, it was good, but it's not as good as you're making it sound. Because me personally, I actually really liked it, and I liked how it was set in our time zone. So now that we got that out of the way, for those people who haven't seen it, you might want to click off the video at this point. Or if you just want to hear about it and then go read it for yourself, you can stay along for that too. So in Death Note, we have a new character. Well, this Death Note one shot, and I totally forgot his name, but you guys all know him. He's on the cover. He's like the TikToker, the e-boy, and he is actually just like Light. I'm not gonna say he's as smart as Light, but he is another really smart character. And Ryuk finds him because Ryuk is like, man, I gotta find another smart one because I want some apples. You know my boy Ryuk, he always wants some apples. And in going into this review, I'm not going to go into too much details because for those people who are still here, I don't want to spoil it too much. But I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of context into the first part of the story. And like, I'm not going to go into that ending. Those of you who know what happened in the ending, I'm not going to go into that ending. But I'm just going to give it based on the beginning of the story and what it is. Maybe I'll spoil the first like 2-3 pages. So basically what it is Ryuk finds someone who's actually really smart to give the Death Note to. And into it, I'm thinking, okay, is this kid gonna be like Light? Is he gonna be a copy of Light? Is he gonna be his own character? And I was really surprised by what we got. So one thing we do find out is that in this time period of where they are, they actually teach about what Light did, how he was like an evil guy. Everyone thinks of him as a bad guy, and they learn in school, okay, this man was evil, he was a mass murderer, he was going around killing people, and he's like essentially a Hitler of that time. He was responsible for mass genocide, and everyone's like, okay, the evil man Kira. So basically what this is about, without kind of ruining it, this is a slight spoiler here, he's going to do what Light couldn't do. He's going to do something in a good way. Well, I'm not saying Light couldn't have done this, but it's just like different from what the original Death Note was. So if anything, this isn't Death Note, this is Angel Note because of how he goes about it. He doesn't use the Death Note to kill, he tries to use the Death Note in a constructive way. And then we have the second L who is actually on the case, but it's not really a case because what he does in the story, he's not doing anything wrong at all. And I like that because right off the gate, L's not really a part of this because our new Akira, or whatever his name was, I'm gonna just call him Akira, wasn't doing anything wrong. He didn't have any bad intentions for the Death Note. He wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna go around killing people, I'm gonna go around doing this. No, he was like, what can I do to make society better and see Kira in like a good way? And spoilers here a little bit, they actually do by the end of this one shot see Kira and praise him like an actual god instead of someone who was evil. And there are a lot of people who do say in the series, well, Kira was a good guy, he was killing all these criminals, and there's other people like, okay, this man's a mass murderer. But I think at the end of this, everyone's like, Kira's a good guy. I don't know if they still think it's the same person or a different person, but overall, now they're going to teach in those history books and in class that Kira was a good guy. And I actually like that turn on Death Note. I really wish that this series was longer. I really wish we could have seen more of this new character, and I really wish we didn't get the ending. And one thing you got to remember, it's the curse of the Death Note. The user dies. Like after the user gets rid of the Death Note, he dies. And it happened with Light, and it happened with this character. And I think he kind of died too soon. I kind of was hoping this went a little bit further because getting into it, I was liking it. And we have like real world personalities in the manga form, and I really like when anime and stuff does that. I talk about it in almost all of my videos. When anime takes a real world like topic or something and brings it into the anime world and puts their spin on it, I think that's really relatable and it hits close to home. Like we had politics, like real world politics, and something that would actually happen in the real world if it was to take place in anime form, and we had Donald Trump in it, and we had like the Chinese government in it, and I just think that aspect of it was really cool. But overall, I just like to say, I like to see the take on it. So now we can think of Death Note Part 1 as the evil side of the series, and then we could see this as like the good side of the series. We could see Akira that kills, and we could see Akira that refuses to kill and that won't kill. I wish they kind of would have done something where they kind of pushed him to a point where he had to kill, or get him to that point where he contemplated on killing and not just having the Death Note and doing what he did with it. But we didn't get to see that because of it was a one shot and how short it was, and it wasn't a full story. Hopefully this gets like an anime adaptation, because I think you could do this in like an OVA. I think you could do this in like 1-2 episodes, 1 OVA, 2 OVA, and make it just like really nice, and we'll get the one shot and then we'll get the one shot OVA, Death Note OVA. Hopefully we see something like that. And one more thing before we sign off, actually two more things, was the Shinigami in the beginning of like the one shot, was that Light? Because I was kind of getting the feeling that that was Light. Did Light turn into a Shinigami? I don't know. The way they were talking just made me feel like that was Light. But that's pretty much all I have for this one shot. I think it was amazing. It was actually really good. It was something that I really enjoyed, and I want you guys to go check it out. You could go check it out for free on Viz Media, so make sure you go do that, and then come back, comment more, tell me your thoughts. What did you think about it? And if you've already read it, let me know what you guys think about it. Do you guys think it was good? Do you guys think it was bad? Should it get an OVA? Should it have gone on longer? Did you like this main character? Did you hate him? Let me know all that stuff in the comments below. And one more thing, I wanted to say thank you to all of my Patreons, which is the Doc. You guys know him, the highest Patreon supporter, and then we have Lord Gyro himself. There was no question for today's video. I'm sorry about that. And with all that being said, I want you guys to have a good day, and peace.